Hey everybody, it's Videobob. So I thought I would share with you this trip that I'm making in my converted ambulance camper. This is off-grid van life. So in the previous videos, you guys have seen me talking about my my different ambulances. I had one ambulance that I got. Ended up selling that one to a guy in Alaska, Las Vegas. He flew from Alaska to Las Vegas, paid me the cash for it, then went back home to Alaska and waited for the ground to thaw because this was still in the wintertime. Then he flew back again and drove that thing back to Anchorage, Alaska. I think it cost him $5,000 worth of gas. Crazy. But the reason I got rid of that one was because I wanted a bigger unit, a much bigger box. And so I got this Horton full-size fire department ambulance. You know, this thing that you've seen it before. It's a pretty big full-size unit. You know, you've got a International 4300 truck on the front and the box. So why did I buy this thing? Well, I wanted to be able to haul my cars, back and forth from Dallas to Vegas. And I'd been using my Ford Excursion, and I'd have to get a hotel room. And the thing is that all throughout West Texas and other places like that, you have these oil fields and construction areas, and all the hotels would be filled up by 6, 7 o'clock. The parking lot would be lined with white industrial trucks, and all the rooms would be sold out. And if you didn't get a room early, you just weren't going to get a room. And I would drive from town to town to town, and there'd be no rooms. And then during all the COVID stuff, like in New Mexico, they limited the hotels to like 25% capacity or something goofy like that. And I just couldn't get a room half the time. And so I used to have my Prevost bus, you guys remember, but I sold that, and that's not practical. And of course, when I bought this thing, it was before the, gas crunch, before diesel was $7 a gallon. So I'm not loving that right now. But anyway, the idea was to turn the interior of the ambulance into a camper. So I've shown some of this before. We put in a microwave, we put in a fridge, put in a sink, got a TV, converted the stretcher thing into a bed. I'm going to put a doorway in there. There's going to be a toilet in there, but I haven't done it. And so to cool this thing off and air condition it, I've got a mini split. This is the inside unit here. It's going to be mounted up on that wall. And then the outside unit's going to be in that cabinet outside. But what I did temporarily right now is I just have this little portable air conditioner unit. This thing runs 1,000 watts. And it's running off of a lithium-ion battery system. I'll show it to you outside. I bought four 200 amp batteries and a 3,000 watt inverter. This thing has been running for 10 hours on batteries. 10 hours. I parked here last night at midnight, and it is now past 10 a.m., and it has been running, and it's still running strong. And I don't know what the voltage is, but it'll probably run for who knows how much longer. So we'll talk about how I did the lithium ion phosphate off-grid system. Now, it's not off-grid because it doesn't charge solarly. It charges off the engine. So when I drive for 8-10 hours at a time, it charges the batteries, or I plug them in and charge them, and then it runs. I don't park and stay, Now, if I wanted to run completely off of solar, I'd have to put over 1,000 watts of solar on the roof, which is possible. Where do you see the trailer that we built for this thing? Unbelievable. It's still not finished, but I think you guys are going to love it. All right, here's the rig. Now, you guys have seen the ambulance before. There hadn't been a whole lot of change to that. This is the custom trailer that we built, though. This is really cool. We're not done with it because we haven't put the pinstripes on this side to match. This is a Pace trailer that I bought. We paint matched it to match the ambulance, We're putting these Wayland lights up there. Check out how we did the back, like the back of a fire truck, because I want the thing to look like a fire truck. I'm parked close to the wall, but if you look over here, you can see how we did the pinstripes here to match the side of the ambulance. Now that door is open back there for a reason. I'll show you why here. So I'm going to take you back here. I'm going to show you my electrical system. So look at it, still running at 12.5 volts. I can't believe it. So this is 4 lithium ion phosphate batteries. Those are 200 amps a piece. And we kind of haphazardly wired it together. It's safe, but it's just, you know, not exactly what I need. But so this is a 3,000 watt inverter, which I'm going to replace with a much more better a Xantrex 3000 system. This is a Duracell, and you know, putting out 1,000 watts for this thing is only 1/3 of its power, so it's not a problem. And we're at 12.5 volts. This thing won't shut down until it gets to, like, I think 10 or something, 10 or 11 maybe. And these, you know, I don't know where they are right now after running for 10-11 hours, but it's clear to me that this is going to be no problem. I mean, I have enough space to add one more battery if I really want to. I don't think that's going to be necessary. Ow, shit, I smashed my finger on that. That hurt. All right, I had this, the reason this door is open is this is the exhaust vent for the air conditioner coming through this access. And so I just left this empty bay and just left it open. It's not hurting anything. In here is where we're gonna put the external unit. I just kind of padded it here because it's just sitting in here. So what's gonna happen is this external unit that's gonna be part of the mini split, we're gonna mount it as close to here as we can. We're gonna cut a big hole in this door and put a vent there. And then we're gonna cut another hole in the floor, a big, long, you know, hole like that, where it's gonna suck fresh air from the bottom in and then blow it out this door. So basically there'll be a big vented louver here that will blow out, and then the other part of the mini split will be up there. We did an awful lot to make this happen. You know, my boy Mike in Vegas, Hero Mike, he did all this amazing work. We had to completely custom make this hitch, install it. There's a camera there, there's a camera there. Also put these LED lights in, wired this plug on. This little box here runs camera cables and other things. This trailer had to be modified. We put this Bulldog hitch on there. My guy Fry welded that on there. We installed this electric tongue jack, this box. Our guy Cole, he hooked up all this electrics for all, you know, we rewired this entire thing, put this tongue box on. Like I said, you can see the paint is like matched, you know, how I literally got the code off the door and took it to the paint shop. The paint for this trailer was $600 a gallon, something like that. It was insane because it's industrial fire truck paint. Man, it's expensive. Okay, let's go inside this trailer. It's a bit of a mess. Would never expect to find a DeLorean time machine in here. No one would ever think that was there. That's what's in there. That over there is an extra gas tank that fuel tank we're gonna put on the ambulance. On the back, we're gonna add this traffic diverter. We're gonna put in a winch. And like I said, we were in a hurry, so this is kind of a mess. But trying to get this door to stay open. So we hooked up a battery system. There's actually a solar panel on top of here that charges that battery, and some relays and things that activate some of the other lights. So a lot of wiring went into this, you know. We still have to get it all tidy. You know, this is where we had to cut holes to mount those other lights. We're gonna put other strobe lights on the side. I want it to completely match the ambulance. This is gonna be like a little access point to some switches that'll turn on the lights. They're not hooked up yet. So the idea was to get one of these lights to be, see, these white lights are gonna interact with what these are the white lights, which are called scene lights. And then those strobes, those would be legal because they're yellow. And I want everything on the trailer to actually operate independently of the ambulance, because while it's just sitting freely, it'll have its own battery, its own solar, its own lighting system, all of its own things that run completely separate. But when you see this thing coming down the road, you would not know what it is. People just assume that it's some kind of fire truck or emergency system. They don't know what it is. They just get out of the way, you know, and that's what makes it interesting. Especially, you know, once I get the matching stripes on the side, it's going to work. We didn't have time to do the other side. It took a lot longer than we thought. We did the other side. We welded these little wheels at the edges for scraping. But, you know, when you see that from the back, you're like, what is that? You know, you normally don't see that on a trailer. We ran out of tape. I need to get some more to do the last couple of bars. That tape is really, really expensive. That shit is expensive. We redid all of this. So these lights are new. There's a camera actually back here. Look at that. Replaced all of this rubber stuff. We just replaced, look at this, we got one sticker coming off here. Gosh darn it. All right, but yeah, all of the lights are new. These fenders, brand new. You know, replaced all these little plugs. This thing has its own electrical system. All of this is all completely brand new. Really proud of how this hitch system came out. So a lot of ambulance guys are going to be interested in this, because ambulances don't come with hitches. They don't. And so it was a lot of effort to get this put in there the way it was, but it looks so clean in factory. And I've got it lowered too, by the way. This thing raises and lowers, you know, the suspension. And I have it lowered, so you're seeing it extra low. When I start the vehicle, it'll raise up about 6 or 8 inches, whatever. But this is a must. I don't like having to crank a trailer. These things only cost a couple $100, and they're worth every penny. You got this power deal here. I mean, you can't really buy a trailer like this. They just don't make them with all these kind of features. You just can't get this stuff. I think if I were to go into a different profession, I would probably go into custom trailer manufacturing, because really nobody makes trailers like this. You know, you really can't buy these kind of rigs. And as far as this thing goes, I would say that if I decide to sell this whole thing as a package, I think it would go for a fortune, because somebody who wanted to do what I'm doing, to be able to haul stuff. I mean, you could live in this trailer. You could put a family in that whole trailer if you wanted to. But as far as off-grid living goes, staying in this thing here, I mean, it's so well built, it's so well insulated, and it's such a great system. The only thing is it gets really shitty gas mileage. I mean, I'm getting maybe 7 or 8 miles a gallon. And so at today's fuel prices, not good. But this is why I put in the off-grid thing, right? Because I didn't want to have to idle the engine. In the good old days when you could buy diesel for $1 or $2, and you know, you could run it all night long for 20, 30 bucks. So it was worth it. But now, like when you get up into that $7 a gallon for diesel, no. But we'll talk about the math a little bit. So I was thinking about this. I was like, you know, I spent, you know, the inverter was a couple $100. Those batteries are $600 a piece or more. And there's about a 2-to-1 hit and miss ratio with those things. Sometimes they're bad, but they're real good about replacing them. Once you get a good one, it's good. It's supposed to be good for 10 years. Sure. So I figured out I spent about $3,000 on the batteries, the inverter, the wiring, all of that stuff. And then I was like, well, how much fuel would that be? Well, you know, that would be equal to 600 gallons. I could idle this thing for an entire month on $3,000. So for the few times I'm going to use this thing, it's not efficient. But if you were going to live in this thing full time, I would say it would cost you about 10 grand to do a full off-the-grid system. If you put in enough solar panels on this thing to give you over 1,000 watts of power, which would be enough to run that thing full-time in the blazing sun and charge the batteries, you could just live in this thing. And if you had that trailer back there with all that roof space, if you wanted to solar panel that thing, you could probably fit 5,000 or more watts of power, maybe way more than that, if you solar paneled the trailer and this thing, and then put another battery system in that, you could create enough electricity to air condition this and that trailer and have all the power you want for fridge, for microwave, and you could just live in this thing full time off of solar. And, you know, there's also a huge water tank under this bed. There's all kinds of different toilet systems you can get that recycle water or incinerate. And you could go stay in this thing, parked somewhere for a long time. Now, the thing is, you know, a lot of people, they don't have the $10,000 it would take to do that, not to mention buying the whole thing. So you're talking about having, I don't know how much money tied up into it, 30, 40 grand, whatever. But compared to buying a house and compared to paying rent for a year, if you were going to be a van lifer, like these California people that live in RVs or whatever, nobody messes with an ambulance, first of all. Nobody's going to walk up to my window and knock on the door and tell me to move. I can park in the fire lane if I want. Nobody cares. Cops wave at me when they see me. This thing, little kids give me thumbs up and give me the full, you know, I mean, it's so great. So if you're going to live in a van, live in an ambulance. And I'm going to leave it looking like an ambulance. Now, it doesn't say anything on it about emergency. There's no Star of Life. There's nothing that says fire department or EMS or anything like that. It's completely blank. I see these people that take ambulances and they paint them different colors and they try to make it not look like an ambulance. To me, I think that's stupid. Leave it looking like an ambulance. There's no red or blue lenses on it anywhere. They're all clear. I've studied all of that. The thing is completely legal. It's just a big red box truck. That's all it is. A big red box truck. So this is the way to go. And if you're going to do the van life thing, you could live in this thing full time with a little bit more modification. This thing's still going strong at 12 point something volts. I think this thing would run another 4 or 5 hours. I don't know. It's starting to get hot now. It wasn't that hot at night. So now that the sun's coming up, it's getting hot. Anyway, rather than end the video here, I'll show you where I'm at. I am at the Big Texan in Amarillo off of I-40. Very famous place. It's where they have the giant 72-ounce steak. If you can eat it within an hour, it's free. Otherwise, it's $200. I'm not going to eat that, but I'm going to get some breakfast or some lunch. So we'll go check out the place. Here we are. This is the Big Texan Steak Ranch. Oh my God, I can smell it. Oh, it smells so good. As soon as I walked around this corner, the grills are back there. I can smell all that steak cooking. It's windy out here. Oh my God. Today is Monday, it's Memorial Day. So, probably not super busy. I was worried they wouldn't be open. But I've driven past this place a million times. I've stopped once or twice. I love old cop cars. This is awesome. Studebaker. Wow. It is windy out here, guys. Sorry. Let me get inside. I've shown this before on some of my other videos. This place is pretty amazing. You've got, you know, I don't even know where to begin. You've got an old-fashioned shooting gallery. I showed this in one of my videos. And you just never see these things. I love the old-fashioned animatronic shooting gallery. Got this old-fashioned bar. And oh my God, my wallpaper. That wallpaper I had in my office. I love that wallpaper. At night, this is a honky-tonk. Last night I heard this going, you know, they'll have bands and stuff in here. This was all lit up and going, and people can hang out. And, you know, they'll have a band up on the stage, and it's good old-fashioned honky-tonk. Bar. Big old chair. This is a cool little place. I like places like this. This is Americana at its finest. All right, this is a representation of the 72-ounce steak. So you have to eat that steak, the rolls, the potatoes, the salad, and the shrimp. You have to eat that whole thing within an hour, and if you can eat it, it's free. But if you can't eat it, I think it's a couple $100. course, you got all of the tourists trap tchotchkes and shirts, all this stuff where you buy shit that you'll never ever use. Again, I've trained myself not to ever buy this stuff because, you know, like it's just crap. It's hats, coonskin hats and things. I mean, you know, maybe you'd wear this belt or something, you know. But like this is truck stop stuff, and it's once you like you get it and you go, okay, what am I gonna do with this shit? This is actually, I like this. I like this kind of custom. I love soap. Oh, this is funny. Soap for carrying. Smells like a can of hairspray and a 9/11 trigger finger. Okay. Oh, I gotta get annoying. My wife. Grammar police. Smells like you're annoying. Oh, my wife is the grammar police. Oh, there, and there. Your, and your. Okay. The size of that piece of cake. Holy shit. Mountain oysters. Those are testicles. Mmm. They come with gravy? Well, I got the little baby ribeye, the lunch one, the smallest one they had, because I just wanted a little bite to eat. They didn't have breakfast, so this is not the big Texan. It's the little Texan. Let's try this thing out. It's doesn't suck. Now remember, I'm a steak connoisseur. Good char. It's not a premium cut though. Bottom of the cow. Check out this roll. Good roll. Got some beans. As my buddy Bert and Gilliam Lyle would say. Good beans. Not bad. Okay, there it was. The Big Texan Steak Ranch out here in Amarillo on I-40. Coming off of 287. You can't miss it. They have billboards for like miles. Like, I mean, for hundreds of miles. They have billboards advertising the free 72-ounce steak. And, you know, there's always some big fat slob up there trying to eat the steak. They're not going to be able to eat it. Fat people can't. They don't eat a lot. Fat people eat all the time. That doesn't mean they eat a lot at once. It's these skinny... It's usually some skinny little woman that gets up there and eats that damn thing. That wins, they said. So, don't even try. Unless you just want to spend 200 bucks on a crappy steak, just for the story. For those of you who lived in Dallas in the 90s, if you remember going down to the West End, which I do, they used to have Planet Hollywood. And this thing used to be at Planet Hollywood in the West End, Dallas. And they bought it and moved it here. It's a big dinosaur with cowboy boots thing. I remember this, the West End. I love how they did the hotel here. I think it's pretty cool. I showed this when I was walking out, but this is pretty neat. I mean, if you were traveling the country and it was your first time coming to Texas, or you were coming from, you know, there's a lot of foreigners in there. The lady sitting next to me was from Germany. This is really a cool Americana thing, you know? I mean, like if you're an older guy or person, I shouldn't say guy. who, you know, grew up watching Westerns and things, and it was your first time coming to Texas, this is probably the last little bit of old-fashioned Route 66 Americana that's left, because everything has just been corporified to death, homogenized, and turned into the same boring bullshit. This is what Route 66 used to be, and this is what was so cool about traveling, you know, from Chicago to California through Route 66, was seeing cool stuff like this out in the American West. You know, I really appreciate places like this, and this is why I came here. I wanted to give them some of my money because I want them to stay in business, because places like this just are gone. You know what I mean? I mean, you travel through America and one town looks just like the next. Every gosh darn exit has the exact same gas station, Starbucks, Applebee's, Walmart, Chili's. It's the exact same shit everywhere you go. And it's like you hardly see any non-corporate owned businesses. And it's so sad that you can go anywhere in America, stop at any roadside exit and get the exact same truck stop McDonald's. And stuff like this is just disappearing. And our kids or our grandkids are just not going to get to see this stuff any longer. They're only going to see the same exact corporate bullshit. So when you see a place like this, stop and just buy a drink or something. Give them $1. They need it. Now let's get back on the road in this rig. Full keyless entry. Actually locks and unlocks all of the doors. Pilot step entry. Here it is, full 12 hours later, still running strong. Hell yeah. Air conditioning, still air conditioning 12 hours later. Hell yeah. But here's one more thing we added in here. Check this out. I can turn on my ignition and I can start the truck from right back here as long as I've got the thing turned on in there. Watch this. Started the truck. So while I'm in here, I can get it warmed up, aired up, get the compressor tanks full, air conditioner on. We thought of everything, folks. That's why we're badass. Quick look inside my office, where I'm going to spend the next day or two. Check out my camera system here. I can see looking down on my hitch and the step when I'm backing up to dock. This is out the side over there, so I can see the entire blind spot all down the vehicle. That's looking at the back of the trailer, or without the trailer, that's a rear view, but that also helps me hitch. And then that's looking out the back of the trailer down below. So if I want to back this thing up to, you know, backing into a dock or something, I can do that. Actually have a remote, and I can see all four of these. This is also recording to an SD card and 4K resolution. This is a great system. We installed that. We also put in, by we I mean Mike, put in this badass radio. It's an Apple CarPlay. These are all the controls that run all the ambulance stuff, all the flashing lights and the loading lights, and rear air conditioning in the domes gives me, you know, all the information I need. I can look at the different temperatures, line pressures, RPM of the engine, voltages, putting out 30 amps. It's putting out extra power because it's charging those batteries up after it's been sitting. That comes in handy. Over here on the dash, you have all your different gauges, temperatures, fuels, voltages, air pressures, all that kind of stuff. Instant mile per gallon, 0. Cruise. It's not so bad. All right, guys, that's the end of this video. If you're interested in learning more about this ambulance and the other things that we do, and that DeLorean time machine going to Barrett Jackson, you might want to subscribe to the videos, turn on your notifications when I do my lives, and share this to a friend that you think might enjoy it. We're going to be talking about how this thing is set up more in detail. I'm going to do a detailed video of it once we've got it all done. I'll show exactly how we did the whole off-grid system and all that stuff, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I got to get on the road. I've still got another 800-900 miles to go to get to Vegas. Another 14-15 hours worth of driving. I don't think I'm going to make it today. I'll probably make it to like somewhere in Arizona or something. We'll see. Anyway, stay tuned. By the time you see this video, it'll be a couple days later by the time I get home. Anyway, thanks for watching. Happy Memorial Day. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.